Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit that says, am I the arsehole here for kicking my brother out of my wedding for making my fiance cry? My wedding was this past weekend, and I'm honestly still in shock over what happened. My fiancée, now wife, and I have been together for 7 years. We've gone through everything together. Moving in, job losses, her battle with anxiety, everything. So our wedding day was supposed to be our day to finally celebrate all that, right? Well, it was, until my brother decided to ruin it. For context, my brother, 30 male, has always had a weird thing about pranks. He calls them jokes, but honestly, they've been mean-spirited and embarrassing. Growing up, I'd laugh it off or get mad, and he'd say I was being too sensitive. But this time, it went way too far. During our reception, he got up to give a speech. I thought it would be nice, maybe he'd say something heartfelt for once. But no. Instead, he pulls out a fucking slideshow of hilarious photos of my wife. Old ones from her Instagram where she's crying, looking vulnerable, or just super unflattering. And he starts making jokes about her weight fluctuations, saying how she used to look like a twig when we first started dating and now she's more well-fed. My wife's face turned white. She started crying quietly, and my brother, he just kept going, laughing like he was the funniest guy on the planet. The whole room was dead silent. I saw red. I stood up, walked right over to him and told him to leave, right in the middle of his speech. I said he was done. And I didn't care if he was my brother, my wife was humiliated. He tried to brush it off, saying I was ruining the fun and that everyone else thought it was funny. No one laughed, not one person. He refused to leave at first, so I told security to get him out. He stormed out, calling me a fucking drama queen on the way out. Now my parents are furious with me for embarrassing my brother at my own wedding. They think I overreacted, that I should have let it slide because he didn't mean it. My mum even said my wife was overreacting too, and that this was just all a part of his sense of humor. My wife hasn't stopped crying since. I told my family we're taking a break from them, but now my phone is blowing up with texts from my mum and dad saying I fractured the family and ruined my own wedding over a joke. I get that I blew up, but I couldn't stand seeing my wife so hurt. Did I go too far? Am I the arsehole here? Look, this isn't a prank. This isn't a funny joke. Jokes are meant to be that the wife would have laughed at as well. That's not the case. There was many points in this whole process your brother could have taken a step back and went, hold up, that's going to come across really shitty, or that's really hurtful. Why would I do this kind of thing? Could have questioned himself. He planned the fucking slideshow. That doesn't just happen. That takes planning. That takes downloading photos. That takes putting it into a slideshow. Any one of these points, he could have stopped. And making jokes about people's weight is just such a shitty thing to do. It can cause so much damage to the point of eating disorders. It's just absolutely disgusting. And to the mum and dad saying you fractured the family, no, they've chose to by backing up that brother and his shitty, quotes, sense of humor. But Acceptable Win says your brother really embarrassed your wife in what was meant to be a special day to celebrate you both. It sounds like he got a lot of growing up to do and you were the first one to tell him so. Your wife is now a part of your family and your brother needs to realize that he is seriously messed up. Your parents have probably been enabling your brother too. He needs to man up and apologize. Not the arsehole. Music Mammy says, and now everyone knows what a complete arsehole the brother is. Someone has just got to tell the parents that they've backed the wrong child. Construction No says, I'd bet good money that fractured the family means that everyone else now thinks OP's brother, and possibly parents too, are weirdos for this whole situation. This wasn't a prank. He curated a fucking slideshow and roast session for the wedding. It's even stranger because it was completely uneven. Why does he feel the need to pick on the bride over his own brother? Probably because he knew she'd given the reaction he wanted, and he's an arsehole. So, around 12 or so days later, OP comes in with an update and says, hey everyone, I posted here a little while ago about what went down at my wedding, and I just wanted to say thank you for all your comments and support. It's been a rough week, but I figured I'd update everyone on what happened since then. After kicking my brother out, I stuck to my word and told my family we're taking a break. I blocked my brother on everything, and my wife and I decided to focus on each other for the week, just trying to recapture some of the joy that was stolen from us on our big day. We went on a mini honeymoon to a cabin we'd rented and tried to shut up the drama for a bit. However, as soon as we got back, my parents showed up unannounced. They claimed they just wanted to talk it out, but the second they sat down, it was clear they were there to defend my brother. They kept repeating that I overreacted and that he was just trying to be funny. My mum even said, "You know how your brother is. He didn't mean to hurt anyone." I told them that whatever he meant it or not, he did hurt my wife, and that's not something I can just brush off. My dad then hit me with, "Family is family. You don't turn your back on blood." And I honestly lost it. I told him that my family is the one I chose to build with my wife, and if they can't respect her, then they don't get to be a part of our lives. They left in a huff, saying I was being manipulated and that my wife was too sensitive. The day after that, my brother tried reaching out, through a mutual cousin this time, saying he didn't mean any harm and that he's willing to forgive me if I apologize for embarrassing him in front of everyone. This absolutely floored me. I realized in that moment that he still doesn't see what he did as wrong. I haven't responded, and I don't plan to. My wife and I have started couples therapy. Not because there's anything wrong between us, but because I want to make sure that she feels supported and knows I'm fully on her side. It's been helping her process what happened, and I think it's helping me realize just how toxic my brother's behavior has always been. We've decided to have a small private vow renewal next year, just us and a few close friends, to reclaim what that day was supposed to be for us. In the meantime, we're focusing on our future together and cutting out anyone who doesn't respect us as a couple. So yeah, maybe I did fracture my family, but if my brother's jokes are more important to them than my wife's happiness, then I'm honestly okay with that. Thank you again to everyone who reached out. It meant more than you know. Faithful Neighbor says on the back of this one, not the arsehole. As we said in your previous post, screw your family. You deserve a good life with your wife, OP. Jellico says, "Mum, Dad, brother, here is a bill for our wedding and the reception. Until I am reimbursed in full, I'm going no contact with all three of you. And for the record, this is my decision. My wife wants to let this all go and move on, but I do not. You've all made excuses for brother's shitty, immature behavior his entire life, and now it's cost you one of your children. The three of you will pay for the wedding brother ruined, even if you have to mortgage your house and work until you're 80 to do it, or this will be the last time any of you see or hear from me. Not the arsehole here. Holding them financially responsible doesn't mean you forgive them. It just gives you the ability to have wedding 2.0 without them." Jew Wolfie says, "I love this response for 3 reasons. Anytime they try to initiate contact, you can reply, 'Do you have my money?' 'No.' 'Okay, goodbye.' The burden in terms of fixing the situation is clearly in their court, their ambiguity. And 3, people who owe you money tend to avoid you. The problem solves itself." Lots of people on the back of this one saying, "At least we know who the golden child of that family is," which, you know, it does make sense. The absolute enabling when you can see how shitty the behavior was from the brother in all of this and still backing him up. It's just the way he is. Family, family. One more time for the people in the back. Say it with me, guys. Family. And you said maybe you did fracture the family. Once again, these were not your actions. These were actions that your family chose to do. You made the right decisions in this, in my opinion. But what do you guys make of this one? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Imagine sitting in that wedding and watching that go down. Holy moly. I was cringing at the thought of a slideshow just tearing someone else down. It's just, oh, dearie me. But let's move on to another story, which comes from Susie Woozy 420 from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit and says, "Am I the arsehole for continuing to wear makeup and dress in my normal style around a friend who thinks her husband has a crush on me? My 29 female friend, 31 female, has told me that her husband, 35 male, has a crush on me, and has recently told her that he fantasizes over me. This already makes me feel very awkward, but now she has asked if I can stop wearing makeup and wear baggy clothes around him. We went out for dinner last night at a reasonably expensive restaurant with a few others, 7 of us in total, and she texted me when I got home saying she was angry at me for looking hot after she asked me not to wear makeup. She's my friend and I want to do the right thing, but there's nothing I could wear that is baggy that would have suited the restaurant that we were in, Michelin star. My style is very conservative and I was wearing a very average dress with heels. I've written out several responses ranging from an apology to being quite rude, but wanted to sense check my thoughts here before I go back to her. I don't want to make life difficult for her, but what she's asking for feels unreasonable. Am I the arsehole? The first line in the first paragraph absolutely threw me in itself. Who goes up to their wives and says, "Oh, do you know your mate?" Oh, I fantasize over her. But this is simply not the arsehole in this situation. She's talking to the wrong person in this. The husband's feelings are simply not your responsibility, and altering your appearance wouldn't be a solution in this. And if her husband's going up to her telling her that he's fantasizing about her mates, then, you know, there's something a lot deeper going on in their marriage, I think, which needs to be sorted between them. But cover character says anyway, total not the arsehole. For one thing, I don't think it's possible to dress appropriately for a nice restaurant without looking hot to someone who already finds you attractive. More generally, as long as you are not hitting on the husband or intentionally dressing provocatively to catch his attention, which it sounds like you are not, then this is a her problem, not a you problem. Here's another point. Why on earth did she tell you that her husband has the hots for you? Completely inappropriate. This is something to be handled within the marriage. Opie says, I'm not sure why she told me either. The first time she said it was cute that he had a crush on me. Then she started getting a bit more detailed about it. Every Blueberry says, here's what you write to her. Fixing your marriage is not my problem. Please seek marriage counseling instead of policing my clothes. Opie came in to edit the post and says, Edit 1, thank you so much for all your responses. It's 4:21 AM here in the UK, so I'll write out and send a response tomorrow and we'll update you all on here. So I can't respond to everyone. I didn't expect so many responses. Edit 2, while I was reading your messages, he just liked an old Instagram pic from way back. Bikini pic. He is now blocked. Final update in Edit 3, I responded with the following. Sorry it's taken me a while to reply, but I wanted to consider this properly and not react emotively. I'm sorry you feel that way, but I don't think it's fair or reasonable to ask me to change how I look because of your husband. My advice is to speak to husband's name and work on your relationship, because projecting your issues onto me isn't going to help you, but it will damage our friendship. You have nothing to be insecure about. You're the most beautiful person inside and out I've ever met. I'm here for you if you want to talk through it, but ultimately, I can't help if I'm smoking hot. Just kidding. 5 minutes after I pressed send, she knocked on my door. She was already on her way, with a bunch of flowers, and cried and gave me a hug while apologizing. She told me they were having problems and it was wrong of her to take it out on me. We've had a long chat and I'm going to be there to support my friend. Thank you all for your input. You all helped so much. Couple of comments after this. Enough Pirate says not the arsehole, but the husband totally is. I just saw the edit and I'm glad you guys were able to talk it out. Hope she finds someone better than someone like him. Another commenter says perfect response and good that your friend realized what she asked is not of your concern. Now, I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from Traditional Lion 4714 and says, am I the arsehole for always putting my boobs on the table? So basically, my group of friends, about 8 total, get together every week for D&D. There are only 2 women in our group, including myself. It's always at friend A's house because he's the DM, Dungeon Master, and has his fancy table and his whole setup there. A has a fiance who recently moved in with him. She's cool and I don't really have anything against her. She just has a grown-up group of friends and doesn't have the same interest as us or clique, or a lack of a better word, with her husband's friends, us. She's recently has been trying to get more into A's interests, so she's been there for our games. She doesn't play with us, just kind of watches and plays on her phone, which is fine of course. A has a table he set up specifically for the game. One with a recessed middle so we don't have to put away our stuff at the end, and he just puts a leaf over the top to protect it. Because of that, in order to move around your character, you have to lean forward or stand to be able to reach. Now, I have big boobs. I'm not a particularly big woman. I'm in my late 20s, 5'4", and 155-ish pounds with H-cup breasts. And yes, before you ask, I have already started the process of getting reduction, and I cannot wait to have this weight off of me. The problem is that when I lean forward to move my character, my breasts squish against the side of the table, and after a while it gets uncomfortable and painful. So I've taken up to lifting up a little and settling with my breasts sitting on the edge of the table. It doesn't push them up or call attention to them. To be honest, I don't even think it's noticeable. With the height of the chairs, I can still sit normally with them there and lean forward without it hurting my boobs. I've been doing this for months and no one has said anything. Last week, A's fiancé snapped out of nowhere and accused me of trying to put myself on display and to put my boobs away because no one cares. I was shocked and didn't know what she was talking about at first. Neither did anyone else until she pointed at my boobs and called attention to what I was doing. She got really upset and caused a scene, and we ended the night early. She's still mad at me and doesn't want me to come over to the house anymore. I've apologized and said I'd try not to do it anymore, and even told her how I'm going to get it reduced next year. She called me a show-off and slut and is asking A to stop being friends with me. I'm at a loss. I do this all the time. I've even caught myself doing it at home with my own table without even thinking about it. Am I the arsehole? Absolutely not. Don't let that fiancé shame you for your body at all. I've read stories. I know people in real life that have chronic pain and discomfort in their back and their neck. And all you did was find a practical solution to alleviate the sort of pain or the potential pain that you'd be getting. As you said, she's the only one with a problem there. Final figure comes in and quotes the bit where it said no one cares and then says wrong. She cares. She cares very much. She's been stewing over this for a long time. What you're doing is not sexual or seductive and your friend group knows that. It's not wrong either. As a fellow HH cup girl, I feel your pain. I feel it deeply, usually in my back and shoulders too. She wants you out and wants to be the queen bee. Sadly, it's not what you're doing, it's you. If it wasn't the boobs, she'd found something else wrong. Drinking your Coke too sexy, laughing too loud, breathing. Where is A in this? Does he know his fiancé is calling you names? Not the arsehole, by the way. Feminist 1946 says not the arsehole. She sees you as a rival. Many women make their men get rid of their female friends. I've been called a lot of nasty names, and then comes the call that I can't see them anymore, as if I was interested, blows my mind. All you can do is not do it with other women. Feel secure in yourself before creating a long-term relationship. Make sure that if there is flirting or advances from someone's man, you shut it down. Kay Rizzle says she's not trying to get involved in her fiancé's hobbies. She's been joining to keep her eye on you, waiting for the flirting or trying to catch a stolen glance. The fact that nothing has been going on doesn't change the fact that she's crazy and jealous and shouldn't be getting married, but when she saw your tits, she thought she finally caught you. What was the reaction of everyone else when she started yelling about the boobs being on the table? Oh my word, that's such a weird scene when you really think about it as well. Just imagine them sat around this table, girlfriend's at the side there on her phone, and then suddenly, when OP rests her boobs on the table, the girlfriend suddenly points at them and says, "Boobs!" What the fuck? Be like, Jesus, alright, calm down, love. Ditto says, "You're not the arsehole," and quotes, "put my boobs away," and then says, "Yeah, sure, just pop them off and leave them in the car." / sarcasm. Then quotes, "cause no one cares," and says, "she obviously cares." Quotes again saying, "she called me a show-off," and is asking A to stop being friends with me, then saying green is such an unattractive color sometimes. Is she going to tell A to stop being friends with all females who have features that activate her insecurities and envy? And one more comment which says not the arsehole. Also, since when is she allowed to tell people whether or not people are allowed to come over to her fiancé's house? She doesn't own it, and your D&D campaign has been running there for a lot longer than she has. If she wants to put limits on you, then when she's in the room gaming or just being in there, A should get a 2x4 cut to strap against her chest for the time she's in here. Sorry, I'm petty, but I'm a girl, and A's girl shit is ridiculous. Other people were going down the path of that she's now supervising his free time with his friends, and it's only going to snowball from here, potentially taking away the table at some point as well. You know, like he can't be playing games and having a gaming table. That's got to go. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being here. Truly, it means the absolute world. And hopefully I will see you in the next one. Take care and much love.